What's up, sneaker people? It's your boy FB Kicks and Gear, and I am back with the first, and I'm sure many videos on a legit check guide for the Travis Scott 1 Jordan Low Olive. Is that what we're calling it? The medium olives. You guys know plenty about this pair. This is not an authentic pair, but as you guys know, I like to get the legit checking content flowing early so that the people that are taking part in the rush after the release at least have something to go off of. And there are a little bit of things that I can point out here and there, and there are things that I'm going to ask you guys to hone in on when you are doing your legit checking, just so that you can make sure you're getting what you're supposed to get. But yes, we have and just like in every video, head over to the Instagram account here that's going to pop up on the page, because that Instagram account will have all of the pictures and angles and everything that you need to do a deeper dive in the shoe and make sure that you are getting the right details you need for legit checking, because that's important. These shoes are going for about anywhere from $700 to $1,200 in price, depending on your size. So it's important that you guys don't get scammed. And I will at some point, possibly, maybe, I'm going to say, I can't guarantee it just yet, but there's a good chance that I will have an authentic pair at some point, and I will start creating content based on the real versus fakes. But right now, this is what we have, and this is what we'll go off of. And just like in every other video, we'll start with the box, and there really isn't much to say about the box. This is very much so a mirror release to the Travis Scott reverse mochas that released last year. Very similar materials, very similar color blocking, that kind of thing. And the similarities go straight to the box as well. One thing I will tell you for sure, the reverse mochas had an oversized box compared to the fragments and the phantoms, and this rep doesn't, and reps tend to have smaller boxes, so always pay attention to that. Another thing that you will notice, two things on the box. I can't really comment on the color yet because I don't have the authentic pair here. I'm assuming this is supposed to match the reverse mochas. But one thing that I will say, always pay attention to the size tag here. Pay attention to this font. This is more than likely going to be a little bit thicker of a font than you would find on your normal Jordan 1 lows. So grab something from your closet, compare, make sure that the size tags check out, make sure that you see an RFID tag behind the label. This one does not have an RFID tag, so you know that is a rep. But that's enough talking about the box. Let's crack into it a little bit and see what accessories we got here. Obviously, you have the standard Travis Scott Nike Air pink paper in there, some white paper, and that's pretty much it. Pay attention to that. I'm assuming that this is going to be very much so similar to the reverse mochas, and maybe in a future video, if I don't get a pair of authentic versions of these, I will start doing my comparisons based on the reverse mocha to give us something to tie back to in retail form. But with the box out of the way, let's talk about the shoes. So on this channel, on my other channels, we have probably done every single Travis Scott 1 low multiple times, obviously with the exception of this one because it just released, but this is a special release because it is the last Travis Scott Jordan 1 low, and it is a woman's exclusive. Now obviously they have extended sizing, so I will be able to find this in my size, but it is tailored as a women's release, or at least marketed as a women's release. So there's a couple special things going on about this shoe, but in terms of what we're looking at, not too special. This is plain vanilla, what we've already seen from the reverse mochas from the original Travis Scott 1 low. So let's just take a quick 360 around the shoe. I'm going to point to some things that I notice about it, some good things that I know are true based on all the Travis Scott 1 lows that I have reviewed, legit checked, and owned. So the first thing that we want to look for is that toe box shape, and the toe box shape specifically is going to be slim and sort of flat with a bump sticking out. What I mean by a bump is like you can kind of see that it bellies out in the profile view. This does it. Fantastic toe box shape. I will say that the leather does ride up a little bit high up onto the toe box, but not too bad. Definitely a little bit higher than what I would see on authentic pairs, so pay attention to that. What you want to see is that the leather around the toe box slowly creeps up, but it doesn't sit on top of the actual toe box, and this does that a little bit. And if you look at the other shoe, it does the same thing. It's not as bad as I've seen other reps, but it still kind of sits on top of the toe box, so pay attention to that. The next thing that we'll talk about is the black nubuck. So on retail pairs and the research that I've done and the pairs that I've seen, this nubuck is actually a tiny bit different from the reverse mochas. This is a thicker black nubuck, and it's textured. And as you can see, I don't know if this is textured because it's a part of the material or if it's textured because it's just of the way they put it together. But many of the retail pairs I've seen have a textured black nubuck, almost like there's a slight tumbling there, and you can see that in the toe box. And I see it on both pairs. I think that's a pretty nice touch. It's a nice material. I will say that one of the things that you want to look for in this is the texture, but also you want to see some ashiness to it. It's like not a jet black. The reps for the OG Mocha Lows struggle with that. They always look like a jet black, as if they are like fresh off the assembly line. And honestly, the original Travis Scott 1 Lows didn't have that. They didn't look fresh right out of the box. They looked kind of ashy all over, lots of, motion on the upper, and not as much on the toe box, but it wasn't a fresh jet black toe box. So this is something that I would like to see on those and these as well. Very, very high quality. So always remember that, guys, when you are buying reps, don't expect to find like a plastic cardboard shoe. They are high quality these days. Remember that. Don't use that as your only legit checking indicator. From there, we will circle to the side of the shoe where we see the infamous reverse swoosh. And the one thing that I will say about this reverse swoosh is that while shape can vary, positioning can vary a little bit, reps don't get this 100%. Every retail example that I've seen of the reverse swoosh does not have it having a similar kind of nubuck that the rest of the upper is. It's usually almost like a flat, no motion, no texture. It's just a flat piece of olive green that contrasts with the type of material below it. I'll post a picture up on the screen just to kind of highlight that fact, but it's a different kind of material and it's not similar. Not only that, they put some sort of padding below it so that it looks puffy. You can take a look at the other shoe, but they do put padding beneath it, so it like almost has like a pillow-like view to it, and these do not have that. Is that a big deal? That's up to you to decide, but it's definitely something you can use as a legit checking indicator. I haven't seen a rep that gets it right yet, so for the people shopping, you're in pretty good shape because of that. But that is definitely something to pay attention to. When you move on to the inside view of the shoe, one of the things that I want to call people's attention to when it comes to the Cactus Jack, obviously you guys know that the positioning matters, where the C sits in comparison to that stitch. So this is good. You want to see some kind of engagement. But the next thing that you really want to pay attention to is that the Cactus Jack is supposed to be almost like a hidden Easter egg. And what I mean by that is it's supposed to blend in with the material of the shoe, where you can only really see it when you shoot some light on it. A lot of reps get this part way too bold, way too noticeable. If it is so bold that you can feel it, probably not accurate. This is definitely on the more accurate end. It's super flat, and in some angles you can barely see it, but I would like, if you are legit checking, you want to see something that's almost kind of difficult to see. And this, in the right light, you can see it, but in other shoes, it literally blends in with the side panel until you get some light on it. So pay attention to that. Something really important to look at. And as we get more information, as things develop, we'll see how things like the midsole checkout. The midsole actually looks pretty good from here. Might be a little bit on the dark side, but ultimately, when it comes to these Travis Scott releases, you never really know what changes from release to release. He keeps a lot of the things the same, but the small nuances is kind of what separates each shoe from each shoe. So overall, I would say that the reps are pretty good. I think the easiest way you'll be able to tell for now will be the reverse swoosh. Just like everything else, the tongue tags check out pretty well. Not much to see here. This is the outsole, pretty standard Jordan 1 outsole. Wings logo on the back looks like shit, just like the authentic pairs look like shit. So this is really a standard Travis Scott Jordan 1 low, but you know, different with a little bit of flavor. So the last thing that I'll do is I'll shine a quick black light on it to see if there's anything that we can pick up that looks interesting. So shining the black light, nothing actually really lights up. The Cactus Jack logo lights up here. Nothing on the back. Yeah, nothing lights up at all. So nothing super reactive outside of the Cactus Jack logos and maybe glue wherever you can find it. The threading does not light up at all. So it'll be interesting to see that on an authentic pair and see if there's anything that kind of, you know, matches up. But that's pretty much it for this. Very first early legit checking guide. I didn't show you guys the insole, but I'll take that out for you to see, because this is different. Usually when it comes to the legit checking, the things that really tell the shoe apart are what you find on what's different. So take a look at this. For those that have authentic pairs, tell us how this compares in the comments. And here's the other one. Tell us how it compares. Now that's it for my legit checking guide. My first legit checking guide. The biggest thing that I want you guys to focus on when you are legit checking is always pay attention to the shape, specifically that toe box shape. Pay attention to the reverse swoosh. You want it to, one, be a solid, non-transitionary color, and you want it to be almost looked padded, slightly padded. And when it comes to the black nubuck on the toe, on the sides, you want to look for a slight tumbling, almost like a texture. It's good, just like you see on here. And you want to make sure that the Cactus Jack on the side is well blended into the material and not protruding, not bulging, not bold. But with that said, guys, that's it. Tell me how you guys feel about this shoe. Tell me where it ranks on your list of Travis Scott Jordan 1s in general, and then Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. I would say this is probably at the bottom of my list, and that's not to say that they're bad. It's, you know, I would still give these a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. I just think that after the entire run, they feel like the least unique of the Travis Scott Jordan 1s, so they're at the bottom of my list. But you guys tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel about them. Do you like them? Are you going to pay resell? Are you afraid of the fakes that are out on the market? You tell me. And again, I will leave the Instagram account where you can see all of the pictures and details of this shoe so that you can do your legit checking and make sure that you're getting what you paid for. So with all that said, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.